Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 5 of Roll20 Presents D&D Adventurers League. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. If you're watching live, there's been a bit of a break, so I'm happy to be back with my nerds. How's everybody doing?
Hi,
Awesome.
doing great.
I'm so excited.
That's good. I wanna talk. So I haven't gotten to watch it yet. Can you tell me about what you did
Your
in my
bad friend.
absence?
Oh man!
I was telling
don't get
everybody
me
stories. I was telling people stories at Gen Con of how proud I was
Aw.
that my players were so excited about playing role-playing games together that when I left, they were like, "No, forget it. We're playing without you." That was real good. That was nice for me. Also, welcome back. Not a picture of Dave. I just realized we've been
Yay,
missing you
not
for
a
while.
picture of Dave.
Oh yeah, right.
You
Yeah.
moving around and
What's
stuff.
happened?
So how was it? How was Fall of Magic?
It was super ridiculously fun. I don't know. I liked it. I want to play more.
I really enjoyed it. It was definitely like oh wait, I have to make shit up now. It made me realize how really, really good you are, I guess. So now I'm like, okay, I gotta get good to be like Adam.
It's fun, those kinds of games, because it shows you don't actually really need a GM. Like, everybody can just GM together, and
Yeah.
that the despotic position of Dungeon Master
I mean,
maybe does not need to exist for
I
some
mean,
games.
I feel like that really depends on the game. Like if
Totally.
you're playing rules sort of more heavy, like D&D or any of that stuff, like GM is necessary. But like for Fall of Magic, for sure.
That's cool. So, Andrew, was it similar to you? Very different from the last time you and I played?
It was. I felt like it was quite different.
Yeah. Were you a creep?
No,
Good.
I was-
Congratulations.
weird, sad giant.
Oh, that's cool.
I made myself tear up in like a lot of my scenes.
Oh my gosh, it was
You
so
made me tear up too. Oh God.
It's like
Savage.
robots and the ants will just like make me cry 100% of the time, and my like
Aw.
giant was like slowly turning into a tree, and it was just tugging at my heartstrings. too much.
Andrew and Dave definitely like made that like adventure. Like both of their characters were just like really interesting.
Yeah, Dave played the creep.
Yeah.
Dave was
He played the creep, yeah, for sure.
Tell me about that, Dave. How was that for you?
I was like a magic elemental thing, and I killed an old man, and I made spooky things happen in fires and on the train, and
Many spooky things.
yeah, it was fun to be, because while I like describing stuff, I also kind of like meta describing it and like asking questions to the other players to like hear about their stuff as well. So my character was very passive. He didn't really even have a physical form for the most part. So it was very fun.
That's cool. That's cool. It sounds like fun. Yeah, I'll definitely try and find some time to watch it. I love Fall of Magic. It's such a good game. It's like maybe my game of the year for this year.
It was super
Okay.
fun. Yeah. And like most of it was just like we are gonna go deep in exploring these characters and exactly what their purpose is and like why they're here or their doubts and fears and their their
Yeah, stick right to the
that
good stuff.
And it just like cuts away the like I don't know, the level of a role-playing game where it's like, and now we roll some dice, and it's like, here is the important stuff about all these characters and why you should love them or feel for them.
Oh,
You know? Yeah.
Sweet.
I don't know.
So my other big question. This is the one that I always like finding out about Fall of Magic. What was the Magus like?
Oh, I was the one who Magist first, so I just made him an old wizardy guy.
very Merlin, yeah.
he's very
Gandalf,
old.
Merlin. Yeah.
and like
Really
very
tight.
sick and frail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he?
Although Dave's character sucked the life out of some bishop to give to him, like spoiler alert, I guess.
So I actually tuned in very briefly from the Burning Wheel booth, and I caught like a conversation about a hat and a bishop and like something.
Yeah.
Yes, that was when
It was like right around then.
Oh, I just
Andrew was
missed
wearing
the
a
source
hat,
of
so
it.
that meant he had to be the bishop.
Yeah.
Cool. When you had the players that weren't necessarily in the scene, did you guys do much of the like playing NPCs or element kind of like GMing stuff?
I mean, I don't know that we introduced a couple of NPCs in
We could have done that more.
Barleytown. In Barleytown, we had a couple of merchants, but yeah, it definitely could have been done more.
I feel
I
like
feel like we tried to be descriptive, like all of us like had pieces where we tried to describe the scene and like lay it out. But for the most part, we kind of we really delved into the character relationships a lot.
Yeah, I feel like when NPCs were introduced, generally we didn't roleplay with ourselves, if you know what I mean. Like we were like, and you be the person, or like whoever stepped up would do that. Which I that was my worry at the beginning. I was like, okay, I gotta curate scenes with me and other things in it. And should I talk about their characters as well? No, I'll let them do that, and then the scene will change depending on what you know what I mean. Like that kind of stuff.
Cool. Yeah, that was something that I know when we played, Andrew. We tried a little bit, but I think it's the most challenging aspect of it to be like, all right, you are playing the feeling of melancholy in this scene.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I think my like thing that I would like to work on next time I play Fall of Magic is like assigning people really weird abstract stuff to play so that they can like bring in some symbolism or something. Like one of the examples is like you play the flock of birds or whatever, and that kind of stuff is just like brilliant. Very good direction. I should have, advice I should have taken.
That hits.
You are the wind in this scene.
Andrew played the wind legit last time. There was a scene in which Andrew was
cool.
the like sad northern wind or something. So
Oh my god.
yeah,
Beautiful, glorious.
cool. Yeah, I really like the game. Folks, you can check out that playthrough. I'm gonna get it up on the YouTube channel this weekend.
I've never been attached to a character so quickly as I was to mine in that.
The
Like,
Raven.
immediately like
Were you a literal Raven, or was Raven a title?
Both.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch and find out how that works. Cool. Yeah. So you can check that out on the VODs here. Or I'll put them up on the YouTube channel. I'll make sure they're up this weekend, and you can find Fall of Magic by searching for it on the internet or in the Roll20 marketplace. There's a pre-built module, so you can play it if you want to. It's a really fun game to do in a one-shot, as we showed. But today we're going to continue adventuring.
Yay, adventure.
We're on episode 5 of our first arc. This was the end of Defiance in Flan, where we're introduced to all the different factions that are going to come up throughout the game as we go on. So if you've been keeping track, the only remaining faction that hasn't been introduced is the Order of the Gauntlet. So they may make an appearance in this adventure. Last time we deviated a little bit from the usual dungeon business, and there was a lightning murder mystery, I believe.
Yes.
And that was fun.
It was over in a flash.
I thought it was an electric episode.
Oh god.
Really sparked some thought.
The end was really shocking.
Dave, do you need me to replace you with a still photo again? Do you need a minute?
Poor Dave.
Yeah.
Stuff being not a human.
Well, any more puns and they're gonna have to charge us. So anyway, lightning. So there was a
Lightning, yeah.
there was a purloined blue dragon object. I believe it was a tooth that was cursed and throwing electricity around. And I was gonna say lots of people died, but only one person died, and that was Graveris' fault. But to be fair, he was just trying to protect everybody.
To be fair, you said that they were 100% dead, and then they weren't. So
Fantasy. Yeah.
When is it wrong to kill a zombie? Answer me.
Never. 100% never. I'm with Andrew. Never bad to kill a zombie.
Yeah. This is more of a like Diving Bell and the Butterfly situation where the guy wasn't really dead, but it's okay. It's fine. He's with his god now.
Like, he looked pretty dead, okay?
It's fine. It's totally fine. So, resolve that situation. Emerald Enclave was all up in your shiz. There was a half-orc who took away the dangerous tooth, I believe. Or no, did he leave it with you, Lane?
He
I can't remember.
left
He left it with Lane. Right, but he was like, I know you still have it, but be careful with that.
And he convinced me to join their order of Emerald people. So now I'm gonna go to Emerald City. It'll be great.
Emeralds.
Yeah, you're off to see the wizard.
Yeah.
Though, to be fair, in this world, that's not that difficult. You don't have to like go down a long road. There's wizards all over the place. It's fine. It's like saying
Obviously,
you're
the
off.
wizard.
Would you call it sort of a smattering of wizards?
Yeah, it's like saying you're off to see the dentist.
Yeah.
It's fine. Actually, that's probably like a pretty good analogy. There's probably as many wizards in Waterdeep as there would be like dentists in a normal city.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And everyone's about as scared of them.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Come on down, pain-free wizardry.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah. So cool. You're still in the city of Flynn, where the game takes place, and things are starting to, I think, congeal around the idea that people are there are people looking for dragon artifacts. That it's not just sort of random happenstance. There's some connections to the local thieves guild, right? The welcomers, those dudes with one ear, and they've been either like personally responsible for or in cahoots with whoever is digging up all these artifacts. A couple of loose ends. There's the people who created the teleportation device in the crypt. Don't know who is responsible for that. There's that cloaked guy we saw in the very first episode, who was telling the goblins to dig up artifacts for him and then disappeared like a supervillain. And so plenty of mystery afoot. But what's not mysterious is Madame Friona's tea kettle and her delightful biscuits.
Yay, biscuits!
So it's
Distinctly above average biscuits.
it's funny. I recently did an episode of Office Hours where I dole out GM advice, and I specifically advise people not to start their campaigns in a tavern. And every episode of this game has started in the same tavern.
It's true.
It's fine.
Adam,
But I think that's because it is like short adventures written officially, if you know what I mean. Like
Mhm.
No,
you're writing your own thing.
it's Trope Adventures with our trope slayers.
I like Dave just mumbling about how I'm bad at this. Thanks, Dave.
I mean, I was gonna
Wow.
a total hat.
I thought I was muted.
Oh, so you'd mumble about how bad a GM I am if you were muted instead.
No.
But
Oh God.
But yeah, in this case, it's really just sort of a starting point for the locative stuff, and it's an easy place to find an adventure. So, Madame Friona's tea kettle, place of the grand beginnings of many short adventures. You were here as the sun finally sets in the west, sitting down for one last beverage after a day of, I guess, for some of you, study, for others, craft.
Well, I last time we were talking about me learning Draconic, but then I read some stuff and found out I already know Draconic. So I just wanted to point that out for everyone.
I should really learn Spanish. That would be muy bueno. Wait a second.
Oh, wait a second.
So we realized you already know Draconic, and so what are you learning instead?
Sylvan,
right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you've been spending your time doing that, learning the language of the forest, and I guess nobody's finished with their downtime activities, right? Like you're all kind of mid downtime. Okay.
Well, I mean, my downtime activity is basically just promote the hell out of myself. So I mean,
Yeah,
I don't really
you're never done.
I don't really
hustling.
know if there's a finish or a start to that. It's just a Hiri's way of life.
Yeah.
So,
I had a dream about my downtime activities as Lane. Okay, that's not. I mean, it is dumb,
Awesome.
and it sounds kind of dumb, but it's like, since I work at the library and it's for the Harpers and it's a front and stuff, I was thinking about how they would like hide things like with the books and have ciphers and stuff, and you'd put like different kinds of bookmarks in things, and you'd have to read the right words from the books. It would be so cool.
So you had a dream about that?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're a fucking nerd. I don't need to break it to you, but
Dreaming about your Dungeons and Dragons characters.
I'm not gonna lie, been there.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's a thing.
sounds pretty awesome though.
So, the sun is setting. You're resting in the evening at the inn. Whitley, the last to be noticed of Fiona's daughters, is seeing to the late night crowd. She's most recognizable by her startling white hair, which she currently has pulled back in a tight braid, marked with feathers and beads. And she is expertly juggling, not literally, pots of tea, tankards of ale, flagons of wine, and other assorted mugs and cups as she moves around. She's sort of the most practiced and tallest of Fiona's daughters, so she's kind of taken the most seriously by the folks that come here. As you're taking the first sips of whatever it is, actually, let's talk about this. What are y'all drinking? Do we have anybody? Because I think that the things that people drink say a lot about them. Zahiri, what did you order?
What did I order?
Yeah.
I've got some cheap wine. I think that's a Zahiri drink, you know?
Nice.
Like, not the good stuff because it's too expensive and I can't afford it. But the cheap stuff because it's not ale and ale tastes bad, but it's wine and that's kind of good. I don't know. It works.
Okay.
That's the cheap wine.
All right, and do you order it by the glass, or do you have like a bottle?
I got like a bottle.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Graveris, what about you? What are you drinking?
Probably like scotch or something, like some equivalent. Like they have to blow the dust off of whatever thing they're pouring out of. You know,
Right.
like I get the fancy reserve.
Right. Well, and as we talked about before, like there's distilleries in Flan because they have the
It's all
peat
the
bog.
peat.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's nice Islay fantasy Islay equivalent. Cool.
Yeah, so I'm drinking some very aged, private reserve of that stuff.
Cool. Yeah, the kind of thing that they would never have expected to ever sell, but is on the shelf
Yeah,
just in case.
exactly.
Excellent. Cool. Saris, what about you?
I'm the kind of person that asks for hot water, and I have my own like bag of herbs that I already like, and I put it in the hot water. That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Hippies.
Nerd. Yeah, totally.
Such a druid.
Your own artisanal tea bags you made yourself at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
A
only
small bird literally picked these leaves for me and threw them into my extended hand, and I dried them.
They're a gift. They're a gift from a handsome crane.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably.
That crane was handsome AF.
That's
He was
true.
a good-looking crane.
Smooth
As far as
talking,
greens go, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Far as cranes go.
Yeah. And Lane,
More of an ibis.
what about you, Lane? What are you drinking?
I think since like we only meet here, I don't live like anywhere near here. I live in like the Noble District or whatever. I'd probably like hip flask it and take my own stuff down. Like I would drink water, except it's probably all like gross.
Yeah, it's the medieval age, so drinking water is like not really that safe.
Yeah, and I think despite managing to get rid of a lot of like noble trappings, maybe one of the few like holdovers is that like I just can't stand cheap alcohol of any kind, so I just like bring some with me.
And of course, sitting at a table with me is, hey, you should try this. You know, take some. It's good. It doesn't cost that much. You can have some of mine. It's fine.
Tastes like it was
This is getting
fermented
you
in a
drunk.
garbage
It could
can.
get you drunk too.
Awesome. So do you Lane, do you make any effort to like pretend at least that you're like, do you order a single drink and toss it on the floor and then just fill the cup, or are you just not giving a shit and drinking from your flask?
I don't think I care that much.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So of the four of you, two of you aren't even ordering drinks. No wonder they love you so much here.
And I mean, I live here, basically.
Basically.
And I'm definitely pestering them for if there's any biscuits left over from breakfast.
I saved everybody's life like less than a week ago, so they can deal with me like. not
Yeah, there's
spending-
still like lightning bolt scorches on the floor, and like, you know, they've done a pretty good job scrubbing the blood off the floor, but it's fine. Yeah, I mean, I think y'all have been around long enough that at this point, Saris, they make sure to save you some biscuits so you can eat them both for breakfast and at dinner.
Yes.
So there's folks coming in and out of the out of the tavern, and at one point, the door opens, and I don't think you see this person through the crowd, but you hear kind of like whispering, and not like nervous whispering, but more like impolite, like, "Oh, look at this fool," kind of whispering, some like giggling in the crowd, and you see a worried-looking gnome. Making his way through the crowd, kind of like looking nervously at various tables, as though he's looking for someone in particular. He's older, though. I don't know. Have any of you met a gnome before? Anybody gnome familiar?
I know gnomes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's probably not as old as he looks. Gnomes just age quickly. He's got big bushy white eyebrows, a little tuft of hair on the top of his otherwise bald head. He's wearing like patchwork clothes, like not like intentionally patchwork, but just like they've been patched multiple times. You know, like mismatched elbows and areas where pieces of cloth have been sewn over. Deflated parts of his clothing, and he looks poor and in rough shape, and he's wringing a floppy hat nervously in his hands. So he's peering around the room pensively. Does anybody want to do or say anything?
Hey, you okay?
So you startle the gnome. He just kind of jumps and drops his hat, and then mumbles an apology, sort of to no one. Like he's apologizing for having dropped his hat. Maybe he's apologizing to his hat. Who knows? And he bends over and picks it up and. Like looks at you, and he seems like very timid, like you've startled him, and he wants to say something, but isn't sure he should approach.
It's fine. Just come over and just come sit down. We'll have a drink and talk about whatever's bothering you. It'll be fine.
He does that thing.
A little drunk at this point. You can kind of see that she's been having a good time this evening. You know.
He does that thing where he looks over his shoulder, like you must be talking to someone behind him. And nobody behind him. There's no one there. So then he realizes and kind of like points a knobby finger at himself.
You, the gnome there right there.
So yeah, he comes over to the table, walking quickly now and ignoring the stares and whispered jokes that seem to follow in his wake. And he approaches your table, and he can't. He's like, gnomes are real short, so he's like eye level with the table. And he puts both hands up on the table and kind of like lifts himself up. And he sees little bushy eyebrows. He kind of like peers over the table and looks at you.
Does he have, like you said, he was like very like messy, almost dirty. Does he have like any like leaves or twigs or anything like on his clothes?
No, he doesn't.
That kind of dirty.
He just like run down. Like he probably only owns these clothes.
Have you, good sir? Have you tried this wine? It's very good. Like slide.
I'm like making head movements, just like no.
Sure. He looks at it. Are you like offering him a cup?
Yeah,
okay.
like offered him a.
Yeah, he takes it and he nods and he's like, thank you, and like drinks it with both hands and spills some on himself and like wipes it out of his beard. He looks around the table. What's everybody else doing? So here he's being very welcoming, which is helping him get over his fear of you're a demon.
So here he's also like a couple cups in and definitely a little drunk. I would say.
I think I was doing what I was saying. I'm trying to tell the guy don't drink that.
He doesn't seem to mind the swill so much. Grivaris, what are you doing?
Narrow-eyed, staring at him from across the table and taking sips of my scotch.
Mm-hmm. Lane?
I think I'm reading something, like not like a full book, just like a small...
Like a folio?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I'm like mostly distracted and like scribbling things down.
Okay. So he downs the glass. By this time, Whitley comes over with a stool, like a tall stool for him.
That's so sweet of her.
And she looks over him at you, Zahiri, like, is this guy a friend of yours, or should I just keep moving?
Whitley, meet our new friend.
Yeah, he realizes he's been so like rude. Like he puts his hand to his chest. He's like, I'm Rillo Leadstopper. I'm sorry to disturb you. And Whitley brings the stool over, and she doesn't care about this. She's like, fine, okay, good. He's not bothering you. I don't have to like rouse this hobo. And like puts the stool down, which he climbs. He climbs the side of it like a ladder and plops himself down. And he's finished the wine. He sets it down on the table and he looks kind of forlornly at it, like he said he finished the glass. And then looks at the rest of you, and says, "You are adventurers?"
You are perceptive.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, adventurers and also other stuff. And to get your point before that, I don't think anybody can really be disruptive in a tavern. Like interrupting or anything.
Oh, I don't know, Zahiri. You could probably prove that wrong.
Hey.
He when you say that, he nods his head and he says, yes, I saw your performance some days ago. I was here with my...
Oh, you know my performance! Like right up in his face.
He kind of just like, you're being loud. Yeah, so...
What did you think? Did you think the juggling was too much, the handstand? Like, I don't know, I want to maybe scale it back a little bit.
And he shakes his head and he says, no, it was very good, And he kind of trails off, and you can see, like, and maybe you notice it now, like, he's, like, he's kind of grubby. His dirty face has... streaks on his face, like from crying, and his eyes are kind of red. Aww. And he's like, he was very good. And then kind of like looks at the table again and like shakes his head.
I've ended up sort of like sitting like this, looking across at the guy, and you can see like there's sort of a drunken like tail swoosh, like behind her, where she's like, I think we're gonna get along just fine. So. Looking for adventurers, or are you looking for performers? Because I mean, I can do both. I'm pretty good at lots of stuff. I'm also adept at sneaking around and being quiet. Very good at that. And my friends here also very good. So what can we help you, or you just want some more wine? Here you go, more wine.
Okay, so you pour him some more wine, and he drinks half of the glass in one go, and then and seems to steel himself, and he says I am looking for adventurers. It is my little girl. She is in trouble. I have money I can pay. And he like just takes out a pouch of coins and like puts it on the table.
Is she smaller than you?
He looks at you and nods, and he says, yes, she's, and he like kind of like gestures like,
we must help this man.
Sending his tiny daughter.
I like kids.
Yeah, so he throws the coins on the table and kind of like looks wide-eyed at you, like he's not sure what to do next or how this whole hiring mercenaries thing works.
So what happened?
He looks at you, Gravaris, as if kind of noticing you for the first time. Zahiri's been making quite an impact on him, so he hasn't really paid a ton of attention.
That's her job. She's doing good.
Totally. Yeah. So he looks up. He looks up at you, and he says, and you can see he's struggling a little bit to like tell the story without getting upset. He says, my daughter, her name is Vilona. You see, her mother died some time ago, and since then she has been trouble, wild, inconsolable, has had many run-ins with the law. And he kind of like waits to see if you're going to be like, oh, run-ins with the law, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I was like, go on.
Yeah, he nods. He says, her crimes are minor. We are poor, you see. Small things stolen. All we have paid for. Sometimes she's spending days in jail, but because of small crimes. Black Fist have been keeping an eye on her. She is, how they say, usual suspect. And she kind of like, he looks down and takes a deep breath and he says, last night, Vilona was visiting me at home. Such a kind girl. She brought me dinner. We do not eat so often. And he like kind of eyes your biscuits, Saris.
And I like pull the plate closer to myself and I say, wait, so she's not actually a
biscuit.
child?
You lied to me. You said she was a child. Also, stop looking at my biscuits. Yeah, he kind of like slumps a little when you like retract them.
My biscuits.
And he says, she is not yet full grown, but is not child anymore. She does work sometimes. Local artisan is helper.
What work does she do? What kind of artisan is she?
He shakes his head. I am sorry, I am misspeaking. She is not artisan, is only helping, carrying things, mostly is being shouted at, but sweeping, cleaning.
Who does she do the work for most times?
From day to day, it depends. Whoever needs help that day, she has no job.
Okay. Can you describe to us the situation in which she, disappeared, was taken?
He nods. Yes, she is coming to visit me last night and was arrested by Black Fist. They are not saying for any reason this time. Normally is much yelling about broken thing or stolen thing or angry merchant, but this time they come and they take her away. I do not know why. In past, she is taken to Castle Vallevo, and I go there this morning and ask to pay for her release, and he gestures to the money, is all I have left, but this time they are saying she is not in that jail. Is gone. I am trying to bribe guards. Guards here easily bribed most times, but no one is knowing where she is.
So during this conversation, I would like to sort of like, there's money on the table, right? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, there's a big big pouch of gold
so,
on the table.
So one hand is sort of gone towards the money and just like sliding it slowly towards Graveris, like just like pushing the pouch of money towards Graveris. And the other hand, while making eye contact with the gnome, the other hand is like trying to grab a biscuit from Sarah's plate, like very, very slowly.
And your tail is still acting as like distraction. Look over here, look at the tail, everybody.
Exactly.
Wait, so you're trying to
I'm trying to sleight of hand a biscuit from your plate.
Okay, well you should probably roll sleight of hand.
We should roll for this shit. So
Obviously.
This is important.
You rolled 4.
this is very important shit. So
Alright.
yeah, let's have you roll. Okay, so you got a 12 for your sleight of hand. And
Should I roll perception?
yeah, oppose that with a perception to see if you notice.
I
You notice. You see the little demon claw reaching for your precious biscuits.
And not nicely either. Like
Oh.
Okay.
Come on, I was just gonna feed the gnome.
feed him your food. It's
I
mine.
don't have any food. I spent all my money on this wine.
Yeah, to be fair, you have been feeding him wine, so that's good.
A liquid dinner.
No,
He stops.
this aside, I believe we should have your name at some stage if we're going to do this for you.
Yeah, he introduced himself earlier. Zahiri was just being Zahiri. His name is Rillo. Rillo Leadstopper. His daughter's name is
Rillo.
Valona. Yeah, for real though. So his name's Rillo. His daughter's name is Valona. You have his name. Yeah.
Okay, and I'd like to have been like, just kind of watching him. It sounds all very honest at the moment, but I just want to make sure, potentially, I've been sat kind of quietly and watching him. If there's any details he's been leaving out, like about the misdemeanors of his daughter, or
Yeah. So you want to make an insight check and just kind of like have been like listening for holes in his story or anything like that? Because you're definitely being like observer while Zahiri and Gavaris are like getting information out of him.
Yeah. Why don't I roll that?
And can I help?
Yeah, totally. So the two
So
of you.
I also make an insight check. And
You
then
actually don't have to. If you're both doing it together, it just means that whoever makes the roll, which in this case is Lane, gets advantage.
Okay, cool.
So
Yeah,
Lane, you got a 17.
yeah, because I
Um,
feel like my way of like talking to him is designed to like get those openings to show themselves, and then yeah, Lane is observing.
Always stealing, whether it's like your priesthood, secrets from people.
There's
Just like,
there's an alternate universe in which Lane and Graveris star in a fantasy version of season 3 of True Detective together. Like,
Why not?
yeah, he's being straightforward with you. He's not lying. He's nervous, he's scared, he's intimidated, right? Like, y'all are scary adventurers. And he just wants his daughter to be safe. He's a little embarrassed. You can see that he's having trouble because his daughter has been kind of shitty since her mom died, and maybe some part of him is like, oh, maybe she's just done something really bad, and he's kind of like embarrassed about that.
Right.
People in this town are scared of the Black Fist. They're the cops. That's their job, is to declare when people are being arrested that they deserve to be arrested. So some part of him is like, oh, maybe I'm a fool, and maybe this is all going to be like, she deserves it. She was taken away. But he's also just really scared that she's in trouble, and that he's gone through the normal procedures. But the cops were like, nope, she's not in jail. Sorry.
No.
Well,
Your princess is in another castle.
So he says to you, he says, after I am speaking with guards, I have become very worried. I was considering, and he like looks at the gold again as you're sliding it to Gravaris, which he's not making any effort. He assumes that means you're going to take the job.
Open the bag, and I'm like casually counting it while listening to him.
And and he says, I am thinking maybe of using money to ask about Blackfist in bad part of town. Maybe giving money to welcomers. They are knowing secrets about things, but I admit I am too afraid. I am having much fear about this plan.
Well,
So
you are very small.
he looks up at you like, yeah, no shit.
Never fear.
Okay.
You need not have any fear going anywhere in this city when you have me with you. I'm an expert at purity.
I don't think we need to take him with us. If he's hired us for this job, don't worry. We will go and speak to said unscrupulous individuals on your behalf.
He nods thankfully.
I'm gonna stage whisper over to Dave, I forgot your character's name. How is this
Lane.
possible? Lane, yes. Stage whisper over to Lane. I was trying to drive the price up a bit, saying I was an expert.
I think, I've actually kind of look at you like a little bit disappointed. I'm like, well, we'll help them first, and then we'll talk about that afterwards.
And then we'll hold his daughter
All
ransom.
right.
We'll hold his daughter red.
Yeah, just do the job. Do the job, and then when you have control over the asset, then you can charge more for it.
Wow, I didn't say anything like that. Wow. Maybe you're
Man, things are getting out of control here.
So in summary, a small but not actually child gnome has done a lot of bad deeds and was taken by the police, and you want us to go get her back from these police people.
He shakes his head and says, no, the Blackfist do not have her. She is gone, taken by them and then missing. I do not know where she is.
And they wouldn't tell you about why she was missing?
No, there were no crimes accused against her and no charges made, and then she was gone and not in jail.
Graveris, you know people, don't you? You know stuff about people?
Things and stuff about stuff and things.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is clearly a case of typical corruption within the guard. We'll get to the bottom of it for you.
Yeah, and he says, I don't understand why would they take Vilona? She's just girl.
How much money did he put on the table? Because I've been like counting
50,
it.
yeah, 50 gold. Mostly in like small, like the sound of the. I mean, you and Lane are you can figure it out just by the sound of it hitting the table. It's mostly like silver and electrum, so it's quite a big bag. He seems to have been collecting it over time.
Yeah.
He doesn't often truck in gold.
Well, I'm sure this will prove profitable in other ways than just this. I'm like doing the thing where you like shuffle 2 stacks of coins together.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just like casually.
What, Graveris? Not enough? Not enough.
Yeah, he gets a little panicky at that, and he's like, I am sorry. Is all I have.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll do it. They're just a little. I don't know.
I think shitty is the word you're looking for there. My friends, they're just.
I mean, we're not
Hey.
in money.
Hey.
He finds it very easy to take the high ground on stuff like this because he is like a noble and still like when people just like a little bit more, it's like it's important to them in a way it isn't for him, so he's sometimes a bit judging. So.
Right.
Yeah, and to be clear, Graveris wasn't like asking for money. More money. He was just like, I'm sure this will be profitable for reasons other than your reward.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you go? What do you do? It's evening, right? Like the sun is setting. It's getting dark.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just gonna circles up some low-level enforcer for the. Damn it. Wrong.
What Andrew was doing there was making a little burning wheel joke. Yeah. Well, you have your background, right? Are you a criminal or a charlatan? I can't remember.
I'm a charlatan.
Sorry, that sounded rude of me. So what's your?
Wait, just tell like it is, Adam.
What's your charlatan ability? Because everybody has like some background stuff, and usually it's connecting you to NPCs and all that jam. So
Yeah, I do not remember.
I will find it for you in my.
I have a quick
Player's
question
handbook.
while you're looking through for either Adam or Dave. As a second level druid, can I prepare 5 spells now and use 3?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I knew how many that I could have.
Yeah, it'll be level plus casting mod for the amount that you can.
Okay, so your feature is your false identity. You have your fake identity,
Yeah.
which is the one you're in now. But you can always fall back on your other identity to assume that persona. The criminal contact one was for the criminal background. What's your background, Lane?
Lane's a noble.
Lane's a noble. That's right. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
sorry, my-
Yeah. Yeah, charlatan's your false one. So
I think this is probably just going to require that we get out in the streets and do some investigating.
Mhm.
yes, yeah, you can make an investment.
Many people know me quite well, so I'm sure I can answer or ask questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we'll lead with the fiction. So what does everybody want their characters to do in the aftermath of the gnome discussion?
Okay, so he said that she was taken. Where was she taken from?
His house.
Can I go like? Was she taken by the Black Hand from his house?
Yeah, the Black Fist guards came
Black
to
Fist.
his house and and was like, "You're under arrest."
And they are
Took
taking
her
away his
somewhere.
daughter.
Can I like to the party? I'm like, we can either from my perspective, we can either try and talk to the people that could know where the Black Fist may have taken her, or I can go to his house and see if we can track the Black Fist from there.
Are we splitting up? Should I do something and then you do something and then Graveris do something and also Lane? I don't know.
I think we'll have a
Well,
different-
you're drunk, so
I can stay here and I talk to all these fine people.
So here, he holding the tavern down.
Yeah, we all have our own contacts and methods of getting information. We don't have to act on any of them necessarily right now, but if we split up and do that, I think that's probably going to be the most likely to give us a lead.
So you think we should all go and try and find information separately and then come back?
Yeah, well, for all of their corruption, they are still technically the law in this town. So don't try anything necessarily, but whatever you can find.
Then I, Saris, would like to request that the gnome lead me back to his house.
He has a name. His name is Rillo. Stop calling him the gnome. He's very offended.
Sorry. What was your name again? Very small man.
It's just such an awesome. It's like fantasy trope that happens and everything. Like, hello gnome. It's like it's cool.
Well, I mean, I am an elf.
It's true.
So I'm kind of like, you're not an elf.
That judgment.
Hello, American.
Yes.
So, yeah, his name is Rillo. And you
Rillo.
wanna...
All right. Rillo, would you be so kind as to lead me back to where your daughter was originally taken from you?
Yeah.
See if I can find out anything in the area.
Yeah. He nods and he says he'll happily lead you to his house. Yeah. So you're gonna do that? You want to start there?
That's what I'm gonna do. I don't know what anyone else wants to do. They can come along, or
Is anybody else going along?
Zahiri and Saris should go together.
Okay.
Lane
God.
and myself should go together.
Okay.
I love that response. The drunk tiefling goes with you, and your response is, "Oh God, that's appropriate." That's appropriate.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, let's take a break here, and then you can do the investigation phase. When we come back, Saris and Zahiri can go down to No Man's Land, and we'll see what they can come up with. I'm so sorry. Please don't leave. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Stick around.